You're listening to Rochester Trail Riders. Good evening, dear listeners. As the shadows grow longer and the chill in the air deepens, we are taking a detour from our regularly scheduled programming to usher in the spirit of Halloween. Whether you're nestled by a crackling campfire or huddled around a familiar hum of the barn radio, prepare yourself for a tale that is bound to send shivers down your spine. Tonight, we delve into the heart of the Genesee Valley for a story that has echoed through the ages. So gather close, make sure your flashlights are ready, and join us for this special Rochester Trail Tale. Are you ready? Let's begin. Fall of 1834 had painted the Genesee Valley with a palette of rich hues. Golden leaves from the majestic oaks formed a carpet for the land surveyor named Nathaniel Greyson. Every morning, Greyson would mount his faithful Morgan named Orion, and together they charted the future course of the Genesee Valley Canal. The duo had traveled many places with their work, but something about this stretch of land felt different. Stories overheard the night before about the valley fog, its myths and legends, they all faded into the background as Greyson focused on his work. This warm October day, as he was plotting the canal route, the atmosphere began to feel strangely dense. In the intensified stillness, the forest silence was almost deafening. Every snap of a twig beneath Orion's hooves echoed eerily. Even the bird calls had ceased, replaced by an oppressive quiet that weighed heavily on his chest. Suddenly, Orion stopped in his tracks, ears pricked forward, nostrils flaring. Greyson could feel the horse's heartbeat against his leg, racing with anxiety. He too strained his ears, trying to pick up whatever had caught his steed's attention. And then he heard it. A soft, rhythmic thud. The unmistakable sound of footsteps. But these were not familiar footsteps of human or animal. They seemed hollow, as if the earth was being pounded by some unseen force. Greyson's breath caught in his throat, and he scanned the fog around him, but the dense mist limited his vision to mere feet. The footsteps grew louder, and now accompanied by a low, mournful humming. A truly intense melody that chilled him to the bone. The temperature around him dropped suddenly. A cold gust of wind blew, making the fog swirl and revealing, for a brief moment, a silhouette. A tall figure that was neither man nor beast. Its face obscured by a thick mat of hair with yellow eyes. And just as quickly as it appeared, the fog closed in again, swallowing the figure from sight. Orion called out in distress, rearing up with such urgency. Greyson struggled to calm him down, his own heart slamming in his chest. The humming grew louder, and the footsteps seemed to be coming from all directions, disorienting Greyson and making escape seem nearly impossible. As he tried to find a way out, the voice changed from a hum to a whisper. A cacophony of voices, muttering indistinctly, echoing through the trees. Lost, trapped, forever. Desperation gripping him, Greyson had spurred Orion forward, urging the horse to gallop blindly through the fog, hoping to break free from this unseen terror. Behind them, the footsteps quickened. The whispers, they grew louder, and the chill intensified. The forest seemed to close in on them. The trees now gnarled and twisted, their branches reaching out like skeletal hands. The very earth beneath them felt like it was shifting, trying to pull them down into its depths. Greyson clung on to Orion, praying that they'd find their way out of this living nightmare. The fog, the whispers, the cold. It all felt like the valley was alive, and it was hungry. Orion's hooves thundered the ground, and every muscle in his body strained against the frog's oppressive grip. The once familiar path now obscured, the landscape morphed with every passing second. Greyson clung tightly to the mane, the cold air stinging his face and eyes. Suddenly, without warning, Orion stumbled, sending Greyson tumbling to the ground. Disoriented, he tried to stand, but the heavy fog made it seemingly impossible to tell up from down, left from right. Gathering his resolve, Greyson pulled himself to his feet, trying to locate Orion. He could hear the panic calls of his horse somewhere off to his right. But what worried him more was the deliberate, slow crunch of leaves behind him, drawing closer and closer. Greyson reached for a falling branch, holding it like a makeshift weapon, ready to defend himself. From the thick veil of the fog emerged the figure of the beast. With a swift movement, the creature lunged at Greyson, but a powerful squeal echoed from the fog as Orion, emerging from the haze, barreled into the creature, knocking it aside. Seizing the moment, Greyson leapt onto Orion's back and fused as one, they surged down the path. The two of them raced through the oppressive fog, the creature, enraged, screams echoing behind them. The path slowly became invisible as the fog began to thin. And soon, the dense woods gave way to open land. Breaking through the clouds, the sun cast away the remnants of the fog, revealing familiar terrain and the Genesee Valley. Man and horse did not stop until they reached the Hotel of the Genesee. The encounter left behind a lasting impression. The once serene valley now held a haunting secret, that a guardian would forever remind them of the thin line between the known and the unknown. The story of the creature would be passed down through generations, a chilling tale of a mysterious protector of the Genesee. And so a legend was born. To this day, those who dare to ride the Greenway through the Genesee Valley whisper tales of a beast. Some say they can hear his footsteps in the autumn fog, while others swear they've seen yellow eyes watching from the wood. But one thing is certain, on the cover of a heavy mist, the heart of the valley lies, a creature waiting for its next encounter. The events of this story are, well, they're purely fictional, while the places are tangible. The stretch of the old canal is now the Genesee Valley Greenway, stretching from Rochester to Hinsdale, New York. The Hotel of the Genesee, it still stands today. It is known as the Art of Ale, a haven from the dense autumn fog that blankets the valley. Thank you for listening, and if you like the content of this podcast, be sure to like, follow, subscribe wherever you listen. Until next time, happy trails.